Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. If you're still breathing, still standing, still walking through the fire, then you are a woman the devil can't destroy. You hear me. You are still here for a reason. Because, see, the devil didn't come after your weakness. He came after your strength. He's been trying to shake the very thing God placed in you before you were even born, but he failed. Oh, yes, he tried, but he failed. You rise when you should have stayed down. You pray when everything says you should give up. You walk with power when pain should have broken your back. That's not ordinary. That's divine. You think it's just you fighting your battles? Nah, you got angels on your side. You got grace covering your steps. Every time you stood in the dark and still found the light, you proved that you are not just a woman. You are a warrior. You don't fold when pressure hits. You don't crumble when life throws its worst. Because your foundation isn't built on fear, it's built on faith. And let me tell you something, faith will shake hell to its core. You carry something bigger than beauty, bigger than charm, bigger than style. You carry purpose. And purpose is dangerous to the enemy. You were born to break chains, born to lead, born to heal, born to shift atmospheres. That's why hell's been after you. But it couldn't stop you. It won't stop you. You are a woman the devil can't destroy, because what God ordains, no enemy can cancel. So walk like you know who you are. Speak like heaven listens. Move like you're already victorious. You are chosen. You are covered. And no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you still rise. She rises after every fall. She doesn't wait for permission. She doesn't wait for applause. And she definitely doesn't wait for someone to pick her up. No, she gathers the pieces of her broken moments, dusts off the shame, and stands taller than before. Each fall could have been the final one. Each betrayal, each heartbreak, each setback could have been the end. But somehow, some way, she finds the courage to rise. And not just to stand still, but to move forward, even if she's still bleeding. That's what makes her different. That's what makes her unstoppable. Pain doesn't paralyze her. It teaches her, sculpts the kind of strength that can't be faked. She's learned that falling doesn't mean failure. It means she was brave enough to walk, to try, to risk, to love, to believe. Falling means she showed up when it would have been easier to stay in hiding. She has learned how to cry in silence and still show up with a smile. She's learned how to walk into rooms where she wasn't invited and turn every side eye into stunned silence. She doesn't need validation to feel worthy. Every time life tried to take her joy, her purpose, her fire, she rebuilt it. From scratch if she had to. The fall has never been her enemy. It's the place where her deepest lessons were planted. It's where she found her grit, her God, her grounding. People looked at her and thought she had it easy because they never saw the night she cried herself to sleep. They never saw the morning she had to convince herself to get out of bed. They don't see the invisible weight she carries daily, the one she can't put down, but still walks with grace. They don't see that behind her strength is a storm she survived. She rises not because she wants to impress anyone. She rises because she knows what it means to almost lose herself. She knows what it's like to have your name misused, your heart mishandled, your love taken for granted. She knows what it feels like to break. And she also knows the power of putting herself back together with her own hands. She's tired, yes. She's been bruised, yes. But she refuses to let a moment define her. One bad chapter will never rewrite the story God is still writing in her. She rises with the memory of every no she turned into a yes, every closed door that led her to a better one, every tear that watered the soil of her next blessing. Her resilience didn't come from comfort, it came from chaos. She found her purpose in pressure. Her character was shaped in the crushing. That's why she doesn't apologize for her power. That's why she doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. She's been quiet for too long. She's played small for too long, but not anymore. The world will know she survived. She has failed, yes, but failure doesn't scare her anymore. She's danced with disappointment and came out stronger. She's learned how to clap for others while she was still waiting for her turn. And even when that turn didn't come, she didn't grow bitter. She grew better. She grew wiser. And she started building what others said she couldn't have. The same people who doubted her will one day ask how she did it. And she won't need to say a word. Her life will speak for itself. She rises after every fall because she knows who she is. And when you know who you are, you stop letting failure speak louder than faith. You stop letting people's opinions outrun your inner voice. She knows that grace covers her, that mercy follows her, that favor isn't something she earns. It's something that was placed on her before she was even born. She's not just a survivor, she's a testimony. And her scars aren't signs of weakness. They are proof that God brought her through what should have destroyed her. When she falls, she doesn't lose her identity. She may lose her footing, she may lose some friends, she may lose her way for a moment, but not her identity. She remembers what she's made of. She remembers what she's called to do. There's a fire in her bones that refuses to go out. Every hit just makes her hungrier. Every delay just makes her dig deeper. She's not after comfort, she's after calling. And that calling keeps pulling her back up when the world thinks she should be done. She doesn't need a perfect path. She just needs purpose. And even when she stumbles, even when she questions herself, even when the mirror reflects her worst days, she's still rising. Because there is something sacred about a woman who's walked through hell and still chooses heaven. There is something unstoppable about a woman who's been lied to, left out, counted out, and still shows up with vision, with value, with voice. She has walked through fire and it didn't burn her, it refined her. She's been through storms that tried to drown her, but she learned how to breathe underwater. She's built different. Her faith is forged in fire, her peace is protected, her boundaries are solid, and her dreams are rooted in something deeper than applause. They're rooted in legacy. She's not just rising for herself. She's rising for every woman watching her, for every little girl who needs to know that falling isn't the end. It's just the beginning of rising again, stronger. So yes, she has fallen, but don't you dare count her out. The world may have written her off, but heaven never did. And when she rises, she doesn't rise the same. She rises with wisdom, with power, with vision. She rises knowing that she's still chosen. She rises knowing that the enemy tried and failed. She rises knowing that everything meant to harm her is now working for her good. And every time she rises higher. Her faith intimidates darkness. It doesn't just inspire the room, it shifts the atmosphere. When she walks in, she carries more than her presence. She carries a power that the enemy can't counterfeit. It's not the kind of faith that's loud for attention or built on shallow declarations. It's rooted deep, tested in fire, born through pain, and proven in silence. The darkness isn't afraid of noise. It's afraid of truth, and her faith is made of it. She's not walking around with empty words. No, her faith comes from walking through the valley and learning to speak life anyway. She's been through battles that should have broken her, seen nights that should have stolen her praise, but she held on. She believed when the facts screamed otherwise. She worshiped when the walls closed in. She trusted when everything in her begged her to quit. That kind of faith, it confuses hell. The enemy can handle fear. He can manipulate doubt, but unwavering belief, that terrifies him because belief leads to movement and movement leads to breakthroughs. Her faith is dangerous because it doesn't depend on circumstances. When the world shakes, she stays planted. When the enemy whispers lies, she speaks louder truth. When she doesn't see the promise, she still prepares like it's coming. She doesn't need to see the full picture to step in obedience. Her faith walks ahead of the facts. And that terrifies darkness because the moment she believes, the enemy knows he's already lost ground. She doesn't have to shout scriptures to shift things. She can sit in silence with tears on her face and still the darkness trembles because the presence she carries is backed by heaven. Her faith is in agreement with the supernatural. And when she agrees with God, every lie the enemy planted starts to crumble. Her yes to God is a war cry in the spirit. Her obedience isn't always public, but it is always powerful. When she prays, chains don't just break, they shatter. Her intercession builds bridges where walls once stood, and her trust builds altars where others gave up. She has learned that faith is not a feeling, it's a decision, a discipline. A posture, she holds it even when her hands shake. She believes even when her heart breaks. She hopes when logic says to despair. The enemy comes at her hardest not when she's weak, but when she starts to believe again. Because the moment her faith gets involved, hell's agenda gets canceled. Her faith is not just about survival. It's about domination, taking back territory, taking back identity, taking back legacy. Darkness thrives in confusion. It breathes in fear. But her faith is a floodlight that exposes every lie. When she walks into the room, demons don't flee because of her tone or her talent. They flee because she carries truth and she believes it. That belief is what sets her apart. She knows who she is. And even more, she knows who she is. That's why darkness can't manipulate her. It used to. It used to twist her identity, make her question her worth, get her stuck in cycles. But now she knows better. She doesn't entertain the voice of the enemy anymore. She silences it with scripture, with warfare prayer. You can't intimidate someone who knows she's backed by heaven. You can't break someone who already died to self and came back stronger. Her faith is built on a foundation that storms can't shake. She's seen too much to doubt now. She's experienced the kind of grace that wrecks you in the best way. And because of that, the devil doesn't just dislike her, he fears her. Not because she's perfect, but because she's dangerous. Every time she chooses to believe again, she punches holes in the plans of hell. She isn't loud just to be loud. She's strategic. She understands that faith without works is dead. So she builds what God tells her to build. She moves even when she doesn't feel ready. She sows when she hasn't seen the harvest yet. Her faith isn't performative, it's prophetic. She's not reacting to life, she's responding to purpose. And the devil knows once she's aligned with heaven, no distraction, no delay, no detour can stop what's coming through her. She's the type of woman who has cried on her knees but rose in power. She's faced loneliness and still loved people fiercely. She's been betrayed and still chose forgiveness. That kind of faith, the radical, relentless, stubborn kind, makes darkness shiver. Because now she doesn't just believe for herself, she believes for others. She intercedes for her family, her community, her call. Her prayers carry weight because they're not empty words. They're loaded with fire, with tears, with trust. They come from a history with God, not a headline. The devil used to come for her emotions, but now he knows he can't reach her the same way. She's armored up. Her joy is guarded. Her mind is renewed. She might still get hit, but she doesn't stay down. The fight doesn't scare her anymore. She knows who holds the victory. She stopped asking a why me and started declaring a watch me. She walks with a holy confidence that doesn't need applause because she's already approved. When she steps into dark places, she doesn't blend in. She shifts them. Her very presence disrupts patterns. Her decisions affect generations. Her words unlock healing. Her testimony carries authority. The devil doesn't fear her beauty or her bank account. He fears her belief. Because belief births change, and her belief has become unshakable. She's not easily swayed by trends or opinions because she knows truth too well. She's not enticed by temporary pleasure because she's anchored in eternal purpose. She no longer seeks control. She walks in surrender. And surrender, real surrender, is the ultimate weapon. The devil can't manipulate someone who's already laid it all down before God. He has nothing to bargain with, no leverage. That's why he fights her hard. But she fights back harder with worship, with word, with unwavering trust. Her faith is a fortress. It's not soft. It's not fragile. It's fierce. And because of that, she walks into warfare with peace. That's the power she holds. She doesn't panic when doors close. She doesn't beg to be seen. She knows if God is for her, it doesn't matter who tries to stand against her. And she's not waiting for approval anymore. She's walking in authority. Her faith is not just belief. It's movement, it's sound, it's legacy in motion. That's what the enemy fears. He's seen women with talent, but she has faith. And faith, that's where miracles begin. She was built for impact, not approval. She doesn't chase applause, and she doesn't need permission to walk in her purpose. Approval may feel good, but it doesn't fuel her. She learned a long time ago that if you live for the compliments, you'll die by the criticism. So she stopped performing. She stopped shrinking herself to fit into rooms that didn't recognize her worth. She no longer trades her voice for acceptance. She was never made to fit in. She was created to shift the room. Every time she speaks truth, someone gets uncomfortable. That's fine. She wasn't made to keep the peace. She was born to make a difference. She knows that playing small won't serve anyone. It only keeps cycles alive. And she refuses to be another echo in a world full of noise. She is the voice, not the echo. Her words carry weight because they're rooted in conviction, not in craving validation. She's not trying to go viral. She's trying to go vertical. Her audience isn't the crowd. It's the calling. The road she walks is often lonely because not everyone can handle the sound of someone walking in purpose without compromise. But she walks it anyway. She's not chasing popularity. She's chasing legacy. That means she'll be misunderstood. That means not everyone will clap for her. That means some people will question her motives, distort her actions, and doubt her potential. But it doesn't stop her. She doesn't serve to be seen. She serves because she's sent. Impact doesn't always come with recognition, and she's okay with that. She knows some of her most powerful moments will never be posted or praised. The seeds she's planting might not sprout in a lifetime, but she plants them anyway. Because her assignment isn't about her ego, it's about elevation, elevating others, elevating truth, elevating the standard. She carries weight not because of what she wears or how she looks, but because of what she's carried through. She's walked through rooms that overlooked her and still left a mark. She sat in meetings where she was talked over and still made the most impact. Why? Because she doesn't draw her strength from being seen. She draws it from knowing her purpose. When you're built for impact, you don't need a stage to shine. You shine in the silence. You lead in the background. You speak life when no one's watching. She understands that influence is not about volume. It's about substance. And she's full of it, full of wisdom, full of fire, full of vision that keeps her awake while others sleep. She's not loud because she wants attention. She's loud because she refuses to let lies win anymore. She knows what it's like to be silenced. She knows what it's like to play the nice role, to be quiet, to make others feel comfortable. But that season is over. She's not allowed to be liked. She's bold because lives are on the line. Someone needs her courage to activate their own. Someone needs to hear what she survived. Someone needs to know that you can be bruised and still be built for greatness. Approval is addictive, but impact is eternal. She knows the difference. That's why she can walk away from things that look good, but aren't God. That's why she can say no to opportunities that don't align with her values. That's why she can leave spaces where she's tolerated and build new spaces where people are transformed. She doesn't move with the trends. She moves with the Spirit. And when you move with the Spirit, you don't need applause to feel seen. Heaven sees, and that's enough. She's not waiting for the right people to affirm her. She is the right person. The room changes when she shows up. Not because she's perfect, but because she's present, fully, authentically, without apology. She's done hiding her gifts to make insecure people feel comfortable. She's done watering herself down to keep fragile egos from cracking. If her light exposes something in someone else, that's not her problem. It's their opportunity to grow. She's not afraid to shine anymore. She's built for impact, and that means she makes people think. She challenges assumptions. She calls out patterns. She asks questions that stir the soul. She disrupts what's broken, not to cause chaos, but to create change. And yes, that means she gets labeled. Too much, too deep, too intense. But that's okay. She's not here to be palatable. She's here to be powerful. Real impact requires real courage, and she has that in abundance. She's the kind of woman who speaks with conviction because she's lived it. She doesn't preach from theory. She leads from scars. She's not offering motivational quotes. She's offering proof. Proof that you can go through hell and come out holy. Proof that you can be rejected and still rise. Proof that you can lose everything and still find yourself. She didn't read this in a book. She wrote it with her life. She was built for impact, so she's strategic with her energy. She doesn't waste time trying to be liked by everyone. She focuses on being faithful with what she's been given. That means setting boundaries. That means saying no when it's necessary. That means protecting her peace like it's sacred, because it is. She's learned that you can't be impactful if you're constantly empty. So she pours from a place of overflow, not depletion. She knows her worth isn't in how much she does. It's in who she is. She's not intimidated by rooms full of titles because she walks in authority. Titles fade. Authority doesn't. And her authority comes from what she's overcome, what she's carried, and what she's called to do. She doesn't beg for seats at tables anymore. She builds her own and invites the forgotten. She doesn't knock on closed doors. She walks through open heavens. Confidence isn't arrogant. It's anchored, and it came at a cost. You see, being built for impact means being willing to be the first to break generational curses, the first to speak up, the first to lead, the first to believe something better is possible. And being the first is heavy, but she carries it with grace because she knows her strength isn't just for her. It's for everyone coming behind her. Her life is a map, not a museum. It shows the way. It makes the impossible feel reachable. And when the world doesn't clap, when no one reposts her, when the lights are off and the stage is empty, she keeps going. Because the assignment hasn't changed. The mission is still alive. She's not tired of being overlooked. She's focused on being obedient. Because she knows God doesn't measure by likes, he measures by light. And her light, it's not fading anytime soon. She was built for impact, and that means she'll leave something behind wherever she goes. A word, a shift, a seed, a memory, a miracle. People may forget her name, but they won't forget how they felt in her presence. They won't forget the truth she spoke, the love she gave, the hope she carried. Because when someone is walking in divine assignment, you don't always understand it, but you feel it. And she was never here to be approved by the world. She was sent to change it. She carries divine purpose. It's not just something she discovered. It's something she was born with, woven into her DNA, breathed into her lungs, etched into her soul before the foundation of the world. Her purpose isn't something she chases. It's something she embodies. It walks with her, sleeps with her, rises when she does. It's not something she can put down when life gets heavy. It's not based on mood or motivation. It's divine. It's eternal. It comes from a source higher than opinion and deeper than emotion. She may not always feel qualified. There are days she questions her own strength. There are nights she lies awake, wondering if she's truly chosen, truly capable, truly enough. But even when doubt whispers, her purpose speaks louder. It reminds her she was never called because she was perfect. She was called because she was appointed. Heaven doesn't wait for human approval. And her existence is evidence that something in this world needed her to show up. She walks differently because she knows she carries something sacred. Not in arrogance, but in awareness. She understands that her steps are ordered, that the fire she went through wasn't random, that the closed doors were divine protection, not punishment, that every heartbreak shaped the message she now carries, that every delay was designed to develop her, not destroy her. She doesn't just go through life. She moves with intentionality because her purpose isn't about being seen. It's about making impact. And sometimes the most powerful impacts happen in silence. People don't always recognize what she carries. That's fine. She's not threatened by blindness. She's not discouraged by doubt. Because purpose doesn't need confirmation to exist. It was placed in her by the Creator, not handed to her by the crowd. And when she walks into a room, even if nobody acknowledges her presence, the atmosphere shifts, something unseen moves, a just response, because she's aligned, because she's connected to something greater than herself. Her divine purpose doesn't come with ease, it's heavy. Some days it feels like a burden. She's had to say no when it would have been easier to say yes. She's walked away from comfort to pursue calling. She's given up safety to build something holy. She's cried tears behind closed doors, wrestled with God, asked questions that had no immediate answers. But she kept going because purpose doesn't retreat in the face of resistance. It digs deeper. It strengthens resolve. It makes even the darkest nights worth enduring. She doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. Her presence speaks. Her stillness carries weight. The way she listens, the way she leads, the way she loves. It's intentional. It's purposeful. She knows she's not here to take up space. She's here to transform it. And transformation doesn't always come with fanfare. Sometimes it comes with hard conversations, with quiet moments of intercession, with brave choices no one sees but God. She's learned that real purpose isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it's gritty. Sometimes it's lonely, but always it's worth it. She carries divine purpose, so her battles have been different. She's been attacked not because she's weak, but because she's dangerous to the enemy's plans. She's been through storms that were meant to silence her, distractions that were meant to derail her, wounds that were meant to disqualify her. But purpose held her. Purpose reminded her that her pain wasn't wasted, that her scars were stories, that her journey wasn't just for her, it was for others. Because when you carry divine purpose, your life becomes a light post for those still walking in the dark. She's had to make peace with the fact that not everyone will understand her. Purpose has set her apart. It's made her too deep for shallow conversations, too focused for meaningless drama, too bold for insecure spaces. She no longer waters herself down to be digestible. She no longer minimizes her brilliance to keep others comfortable. She knows who she is. And even when the world tries to convince her otherwise, her spirit knows the truth. She was sent here. She doesn't operate on impulse. She moves by instruction. Divine purpose gives her clarity. It gives her discernment. It makes her pause when others rush. It helps her hear what's not being said. It gives her vision for things that don't yet exist. She dreams in dimensions. She thinks in legacy. She plans for generations she may never meet. That's what purpose does. It stretches her beyond herself. It makes her part of something much bigger. She's learned that divine purpose isn't always about position. It's not about titles or platforms. Sometimes it's about conversations in kitchens, prayers whispered in cars, hugs that heal, words that lift. Her power isn't in how far she's seen, it's in how deeply she sees. Her purpose is rooted in presence, in authenticity, in compassion. She knows that influence without integrity is hollow. That movement without mission is noise. So she lives on purpose every day, every decision, every word. Her purpose calls her to grow. It doesn't let her stay stagnant. She's constantly evolving, being stretched, being refined. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's sacred. Because every new level of her purpose requires a new level of surrender. She's had to lay things down, pride, fear, comparison. She's had to let go of timelines and embrace trust. She's had to learn that God's pace is perfect, even when it's not predictable. She's learned that waiting is not wasting when it's aligned with destiny. She carries divine purpose, and because of that, she sees pain differently. She sees loss differently. She understands that even when things fall apart, they might actually be falling into place. She's lived long enough, believed hard enough, and surrendered deep enough to know that God uses everything: the broken seasons, the silent nights, the rejection, the delays, the detours. Nothing is wasted in the hands of the Creator. And because of that, she walks with peace, even in the unknown. She doesn't always have all the answers, but she has the assignment. And that's enough. She wakes up each day, not just to exist, but to create, to build, to bless, to speak life, to reflect heaven. She understands that purpose isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about obedience. It's about trust. And every time she chooses purpose over popularity, calling over comfort, mission over the moment, she honors the one who sent her. She carries divine purpose. And the weight of it may be invisible to most, but it's real. It shapes how she thinks, how she loves, how she leads. She's not just living, she's leaving a mark, an imprint, a legacy, not just in what she does, but in who she is. Her presence is purpose in motion, and everything she touches becomes a little more aligned with heaven. So now you know this woman is not ordinary. She is not random. She is not here by accident. She is built from the fire, fueled by faith, and driven by a divine purpose that darkness cannot destroy. She rises after every fall, not for applause, but because there is something greater inside her that refuses to quit. Her faith shakes the atmosphere, her voice awakens hearts, and her presence demands change. She doesn't live for approval. She lives for impact. She is not led by fear, but by calling forth. She is a woman the devil cannot destroy, because what God has placed in her is untouchable, unshakable, and unstoppable. And the world hasn't even seen the full power of her story yet.